Okay, I think we are live. Hey guys, welcome to the video. RC here. In today's video, we are going to be going over how to study for your real estate license. This is going to be a live video, so we're going to be live for a while. Happy New Year's to everyone, and if you're wondering why there hasn't been a video posted, it's because we've been crazy busy over here at the office in property management. So I wanted to go live on the last day of 2022 and share with you what I'm actually working on currently. So if you're trying to get your real estate license, here are some tools I recommend you get. This is a little whiteboard, and it's really nice because you can write on it. For pens that I recommend, I would get this one right here. It's called the magnetic dry erase marker, fine tip, and it's 1 to 2 meters. I know this is kind of basic, but the reason why is little things like definitions you may want to write down. It's a lot easier with a pen that's a fine tip rather than this one, which is a chisel. Surely y'all are familiar with these. So as you can see, they take up a lot more room and can be very messy when you're writing. So little things like that should help you. If you don't like using a whiteboard, then maybe you're more old school and you want to use like a little notebook. So that's kind of the stuff you'll need: pencil, paper, and if you want to write some of this stuff down, we're going to go ahead and go over 2 things I'm actively using to study. Move that out of the way. So here's Champions, and I don't know if I'm really allowed to show all this, but before we go to Champions, I'm going to show you this course I'm using. So this is night before the exam. It was $70. They said if you don't pass, you get your money back. I'm pretty sure it said on the website. You may want to check that. The testing state, Texas, and we have 32 days of availability for this course. They give you 90 days to study all this. Over here, here's their services that they give you. You have this thing called cheat sheets. I don't know if I'm allowed to show that. I think you have to pay to see that. But basically, it's just a lot of definitions and stuff that kind of tells you what you need to study. I haven't really messed down here, but they have games, glossary. We can go ahead and jump into this. So in the glossary, say you want to learn what is abstract a title. You have a written chronological record, tells you the definition, formula. If there was, it would give you a formula. If there was an example, it'd give you one. So it has practically all of the definitions you would probably need to know. And you don't need to know all of this stuff, but if you really want to study well and ensure that you pass, you should probably read through all of these so you know the language of the exam. Over here, the main thing you'll do is you'll most likely be in exam prep program right here. When you first get the course, you would watch the introduction video, and then I recommend printing all the cheat sheets. You can study that. You could watch the Tune tutorials. I haven't done that. And then there's the exam prep program. So you may really want to check that out. It's definitely useful. I'm not sponsored by them, so this is just my honest review. Over here, if you do launch exam prep, you'll have different stuff. One thing I love about it is you can do simulated exam, and you can set like you want to do 10 questions. So you want to do them quick, you can just hit launch exam. They said in the tutorial you would do maybe like 50 or 100 questions, and you move this meter up and it crams more, I think, harder questions in or something. Basically in the video he's saying as you're getting closer to your exam, you start raising this up until you're all the way at the cram level. So the video explains it better than I do because I don't really understand it. Down here you have the different stuff. Basically all of these are each 100 questions, and to be honest, it takes me a while, so I haven't really done a lot of these and I really need to. But the one I focused on first was property management leases. That's one because that's what I mainly do during the day. So I was like, well, let's go check that out. But any area you're struggling in, so say it's financing, you would just hit select, and then you can select multiple of these. So you could select all of them. Or if you want to just do maybe refine your financing and laws of agency, you could do both. Really, it should show a red light when you select it because as you can see, it's still green. So it's kind of hard to see what you selected. So if you do laws of agency and then you hit launch exam, it's going to give you 1 through 100 questions, and there's multiple choice, and you go through. And guys, this is very helpful when you're trying to study. So that is, I got a 0. Also, when you go through that and you finish it, it records how well you did. So I think I just screwed up like all of my progress because now it shows, it's telling the software that I don't know anything in law of agency. So it's kind of cool how it tells you where, as you're going through it, in each one you go through, it tells you, hey, this is where you're weak, this is where you're strong, so focus on that. Over here, this is champions, and this is the one we're actually going to do in this live video. So we're going to do real estate exam prep, access course, and then down here we're going to do exams. And then here's what I really like. If you're trying to get to the closest to the real exam, you're probably going to want to do these. You're going to have to go through champions. Mine was like $1,000, a little bit over, and that got me the business etiquette class, and then that was paid for all the other classes. How that works, since it's already done, I normally just print them out, but basically how it worked is you're going to take Principles 1, Principles 2, you're going to take Law of Contracts, Real Estate Finance, Promulgated Contract Forms, and Law of Agency, and then Real Estate Exam Prep. So I think that's about 7. That should be right. And at first I did these online. My honest opinion and tip for you guys is do not do these online at all. Avoid online. If you're really good at being focused and you can do that, then go ahead, sure, fine. But there's online correspondence, and then there's live. So online means you just go through the quizzes and you're going at your own pace through the book, which means you have to read the book, and figure it out kind of on your own. Online correspondence is just like you're paying for a course, and you have these pre-recorded videos that you watch. There's a guy at our office who is an agent here, and he did it that way. He said it was very boring and it took a while. So the fastest way that I personally believe is to go in person, because you'll get a book like this. This is the property management course one, and it was 2 days. So it was like a Saturday and a Sunday from 8 to 6, and in 2 days you go through the book. On the last day you take a little exam, about 60 questions, and the exam's very to me it was not hard. They go over the material very well at the end, so you should pass. If you don't, well, try again. So anyways, it takes about 2 days. You go through it, and then once it's done, it goes on your record. So with getting the real estate license, you'll have like 6 or so books, and every 2 days you would get 1 book done. So they would schedule it like Saturday and Sunday, you do Law of Agency. The next week, if there's availability, again, Saturday, Sunday, take that class. It kind of depends on their schedule, and they'll go over that with you. But if you're trying to get your license, I recommend doing it in person at the class. You're there, you can talk to a teacher. It's a lot better. It's also great for networking. So if you're trying to get to know other people, meet other agents, or find a broker, there's a lot of experienced real estate agents that are at that location, and this is the Fort Worth location, but really at any school, because they may not be there to get their license, but they may be there to get to do Legal 1 or Legal 2 for the SAE course. So I know we're kind of going into a lot of it, and I want to get into this, but I want to explain it. There's first you get your license, and then after I think 90 days, or I think after a year, you have to pay for your SAE classes, which is your sales agent's apprenticeship, and that's so that you can renew your license. You have to take 90 hours or so of Legal 1, Legal 2, and so I think something else, but that's for your renewal. So after we get the license, since I already did this one, this counts towards your CE classes, which is what you do after your SAE. So I know it's kind of confusing. You get your license, then you have SAE, then you have CE. So CE is continuing education, SAE is sales agent's apprenticeship or sales agent's education, and basically that's how you renew. And then this is for your continuing education record. So if you're trying to do all that, I highly recommend you talk to them. And I mean, they give you a whole booklet on what classes count towards what, and then you can pick and choose. So I wanted to do property management because that's what we do here, and it was a good course overall. And you get a book, so the more stuff you do, you can always go over and reread if you're curious. So let's go ahead and jump right in and actually try one of these. So the area that I'm struggling the most in is national. I've taken the exam. I take it the first time and I didn't make it. My national was not up to par. I was off quite a bit. And then the state, I was off like 3 points. So kind of a bummer. Also, that process was not too bad. You just have to reschedule through the Pearson VUE thing. And you can reschedule your test very quickly. So we're going to be going back up to the school and taking the exam prep, which is something nice that Champions offers you. You can take exam prep as many times as you need, and they don't charge you. But if you don't show up, you do a no call, no show, you will get charged, I think $50. So if you think, well, it doesn't matter, it doesn't count towards anything, they'll keep track of your no shows and charge you. And you have to pay to attend the exam prep. They'll bring you in the office and you're like, hey, so you got a balance or something. It's not too bad. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right in. We have our national, real estate, salespersons, and this part's broken down easy. You have National Prep Exam 1, National Prep Exam 2, you have State Prep Exam 1, State Prep Exam 2. So I'm going to go ahead and try this one again. And we're going to go over this with you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So you got 150 minutes. John owns the dominant estate with an easement opportunity. John sells the property what happens to the easement. It belongs to the buyer. If you guys are watching this and you're like, that's not the right answer, well, we're just going to go through it. A commercial tenant's lease will expire at the end of the month. He is currently in the process of removing his display cases from the shop. What is true? Is it A, he is not permitted to do that? He must negotiate with the owner if he wants the fixtures. He can take the trace fixtures as long as he removes them prior to the end of the lease. He can only take them if he pays for them. Well, if he has a lease and he takes them before the lease ends, and as long as he leaves it in the same condition received, I believe he can do that. Mark's fence is trespassing on John's land. That is an encroachment. I always got confused with this one and this one. Still don't know what that is. This looks like a meets and bounds. A survey has described the property. I'm going to go with meets and bounds. At first, I think I did this before, and I did government survey system. Completely wrong. It might not even be meets and bounds. The local government has changed property use for commercial. So with zoning is done by police power. Eminent domain, that's if they're going to, that's if you have property and the government says, hey, I want it. And then if they actually take it, it's condemnation. Taxation, I believe that's the government's right to tax real property. A sheet, oh man, I always forget what a sheet means. I'll have to review that one. Which, oh, okay, that has to do with property owner abandons property. Okay, last time I did this, I chose B, and I got it wrong. So I'm gonna go with C. I'm pretty sure that's right. We'll see at the end. Developer has 200 acres of land and plans a residential subdivision. The surveyor has prepared the plot. The builder has recorded it. He will sell individual parcels of land to the builders. This would probably be a rectangular survey. I'm going to go lot and block because I remember this is something else. Lot and block. Meets and bounds, that usually is dealt with more farm and ranch. Lot and block's more like city, county, I think. When a property has easement how do you say that? Appurtenant? Which the following is true. Crap, I don't know that. The servient estate. I'm gonna go with C. When an encroachment exists on a listed property, what are the rules of the agents involved? Okay, A, the listing agent discloses the encroachment and the buyer's agent recommends a survey. The listing agent discloses the encroachment and recommends the seller provide a new survey. The buyer's agent discloses. Well, so here's a keyword, the agents, right here. What are the roles of the agents? So that's a keyword, so it's plural, meaning that there's two or more. So it'd probably be D because it says both agents should disclose the existence of the encroachment and suggest their clients get separate surveys. That sounds like the best answer. If it said just agent or of the buyer's agent, of the listing agent, then you know it's either the listing agent or it'd be the buyer's agent. So hopefully you get that right. And if you're watching this and you guys are like, well, you get this wrong or whatever, just know I'm studying this with you, showing you how I'm studying this, and we're learning it together. This is not a guaranteed saying, hey, if you watch this video, you're gonna pass your real estate exam on the first try. No, this is just a study video to help you guys and to keep going. Don't give up. So John, Maria, and Mark are joint tenants. Mark dies. Maria sells her share to Jane. John and Jane are they joint tenants? Tenants by partition, sole owners, tenants in common? Well, I don't think they're joint tenants because Jane wasn't in with the rest of them. They're not sole owners. Tenants by partition. It's either B or D. I'm gonna go with D. Tenants in common. John owes lakefront. Oh, these questions are very easy. Here's why. Anytime, if it says littoral, it's lake. If it's riparian, it's river. Just memorize that. Riparian water rights, it's river. If it's littoral rights, it's lake. I remember one of the instructors, Randy, said that, and that really stuck well. So you should never get that problem wrong. Hopefully not. And this is the key word. It says John owes the property by the river. Well, then riparian. John owes the property by a lakefront. It's littoral. Everything else you can ignore. He has granted water rights. A lake, he has littoral rights. Mary's parents gave her a life estate on a house. John is the remainder man. Mary leased the property to Bob for 5 years. During the lease, Bob died. What happens to the property? When the tenant dies, the property goes to John. When the tenant dies, property goes to Mary's parents. When the tenant dies, property goes to Mary's heirs. When the tenant dies, property goes to Mary. So John is the remainder man. Mary leased the property to Bob for 5 years. I'm going to go with Mary gets the property. When the tenant dies, property goes to Mary. I need to study that more, but I'm pretty sure it's that. A property owner has defaulted on his mortgage and the lender has sent out a notice of foreclosure. Before the foreclosure sale, the owner is able to pay all he owes and reclaim the property. This is an example of redemption. Joe received a payment from his title insurance. Oh, subrogation. So anytime you have a big question, let's check out this. This is hot. Guys, another thing, I know we got distracted, but another thing is get an Ember mug. This will keep your coffee hot and it will keep you going. So anytime you have a question that's super big, don't read all of it. Just scroll straight down and find this. This is your golden nugget. Read the question first, then read the description, then read the answers, and then go back to the question. If you read all of this, they put so much filler words and all this crap in there to confuse you and all this gibberish that you forget what they're asking for. So normally if it helps, just highlight what clause in the title policy allows the title company to make this claim. Subrogation. I think it's that. It might be a different one. We're going to take a guess on that. That's just a study tip to help you. Number 15, a buyer who wants to be sure that he's getting good title, he should rely on a general warranty deed. Man, I mean, an attorney's opinion of title, maybe, but that's just an opinion. A title insurance policy, that sounds good. General warranty deed, title commitment based on the abstract of title from the title company, no. Number 16, when a landlord allows the property to become so run down that the tenants are forced to leave, this is a constructive eviction. So that basically means if you have a property and you run it to the ground, you don't fix the AC, you don't fix anything, the heater doesn't work, the gas doesn't work, whatever, and the property is so bad that the tenants have to leave. And an example of that would probably be like if there's rats and the landlord's refusing to get rid of them or to do anything, roaches, I think that would be considered a constructive eviction. So we're going to go with that. Action of forcible detainer, alienation, termination. 17, at closing, the seller learns that he has an unsatisfied M&M lien. I think M&M is mechanics and something lien. So if it is a mechanics lien, that would probably be a fence that was built on the property but not paid for. If it was ad valorem, is that right? That would be property taxes. It's not a home improvement loan. It's not an IRS claim. It would be B. Number 18. An appraiser requires a property to have 4 characteristics to have value. They are DUST. The DUST acronym is demand, utility, scarcity, transferability. Not too hard to remember. And then another thing is with stuff like that, just write it out. You know, like D-U-S-T, DUST, utility, transfer. That's some really bad handwriting, but something like that. The reason why when you read a definition, it does you no good just to read it and move on. You want to read it and then write it down. At the house, we have our crypto book, and it's basically all the definitions on CMC, which is CoinMarketCap, written out. Most of them. I think I got really close. I might need to finish it. But basically, all the definitions are handwritten with one of these things on a piece of like this journal thing, and it's completely written out. And I did that so that I would learn a lot of the definitions and understand, what is blockchain, what is this. The funny thing about it is I've still forgotten most of it, even though I wrote it out. So it does help to write. It does link with your brain. If you write it consistently, you won't forget. You may forget it down the road later, but it will stick with you for a while. So demand, utility, scarcity, transferability, that's DUST. And that is the 4 characteristics to have value. And the thing is that you're not just memorizing the answers, you're memorizing the questions, because when you take the exam won't have the same questions as this, obviously, but it's going to have keywords that are very similar that you're like, oh, I remember that from Champions, or I remember that from night before the exam, that it raises your percentage of passing. So 19, an appraiser has value a single family property in a neighborhood where almost all the homes are leased. What approach did he most likely use to determine the value for this property? Okay, so single family homes in a neighborhood where all the homes are leased. Okay. This one's kind of tricky. I'm neither thinking of it's the income approach or the GRM. I feel like it's a trick question. But the reason why I'm leaning more towards GRM is because GRM stands for the gross rent multiplier. So that has something to do with being, the keyword's least. It's really pointing to that. I don't think it's the sales comparison approach, the cost approach. No. But I'm really feeling it's either A or D. We're going to go with D. An older home has been updated for technology to eliminate what type of depreciation? So that would be functional obsolescence. If it's an older home, it's lost its functional. These are really good to read, by the way, if you want to study what is physical deterioration, what is economic obsolescence, what is functional, what is external. Those I actually need to review and write them out because those are really good to know. Especially if you're, talking to investors or you're an investor yourself, you want to know that stuff. And if you're talking to, homeowners and you're trying to negotiate to buy their property, you want to, number one, disclose, hey, I'm a real estate agent, but also tell them, if you know your real estate language, people will probably take you more serious if you're trying to propose a deal. If you don't know the language and you don't speak it, well, then they may not want to deal with you. Oh man, this problem, I still don't know how to do this, so I normally just guess it. I think with this one, here's the thing, guys. You may have this instructor, Ms. Jones, at Champions. She said if you don't know the math, that's fine. You just need to know everything else really well, and you can still pass the test. So some of the math I do know, some of it I don't. This type of problem, something I would just completely skip, although we should learn that. You may need to watch Prep Agent if you want to figure out that. Which of the following situations would require an appraiser? A seller wants to be sure to price his home competitively. A buyer wants to make a fair offer on a listed property. Oh, this would be D. A court-ordered partition is dividing a joint tenancy. I remember that question from last time. A property owner has over-improved. What principal value will describe the result of this? This would be regression, and we can look that up. Okay, regression, real estate. Okay, the principal regression is a term used by real estate appraisers stating that the value of high-end real estate may be diminished by having lower-end properties in the same vicinity. This principle is used frequently in writing zoning laws which strive to keep business and residential areas separate. That would honestly suck if you put so much money in your property, you dump 100,000, 50,000, whatever. You put a ton of money in it, and then because all these surrounding properties next to you is not up to par, it brings yours back down. I mean, that would be pretty crappy. FIRREA is a federal law that regulates the appraisal industry. Where does an appraiser get a license or certification? I'm pretty sure it's from the National Association of Licensed Certified Appraisers, because I remember looking that up. It could be from the FRI Institute. Financial Institution Reform. Oh, that's an act. Yeah, that's an act that regulates. It's not a place where you get certification. All right, I'm banking on that it's C. What is the highest weighted criteria for an appraiser using the income approach? Would it be the net operating income? Guys, here's another way to get answers when you don't know. Here's one thing you don't know. With questions like this, you can literally just copy it and paste it, and then it'll link to something on Quizlet, and then you just hit, you click it, and then you can scroll down and see where that question's asking. There it is. Well, that's not really. That's kind of it. Income approach to appraiser. Darn. Some of them are like point blank, very similar to what's on here. I'm going to go with NOI. How is GRM calculated? GRM is gross rent multiplier. It is the average price divided by the average annual rent. It is the list price divided by annual rent. I'm pretty sure it's the list price divided by annual rent. Can a sales license holder prepare a BPO? This is tricky. It's kind of like a gray area. Yes, if the sales license holder is also a licensed appraiser. Let's go ahead and look at that because that's kind of a good thing to know. So this is from Trek. A license holder may prepare a BPO or CMA, which is CMA stands for comparable market analysis. I think that's right. How did I forget that? In other situations, but is only required to do so in the situation described above. Rule 535.16c. Finally, don't forget a BPO or CMA is a document that needs to be retained for 4 years in your files. Okay, what is this guy saying? Oh, this is really from Trek. Okay. So it says a real estate license holder is obligated to provide a broker price opinion or comparative market analysis on a property when negotiating listing. If negotiating listing is an integral activity of your business, where do you start? If you follow 535 addressing BPOs and CMAs, you'll know what your document must include according to rules. Okay. So then it's saying a BPO or a CMA is not an appraisal. A real estate license holder may not perform an appraisal of or provide the opinion of value for real property unless the license holder is licensed or certified as an appraiser. Under the Texas Occupations Code, a BPO or CMA differs from the appraisal and is not intended to serve the same purpose of... Dude, there's so much words in here. A BPO or CMA is prepared by a real estate agent using the agent's special knowledge and experience of the real estate market to provide a property owner with information to assist the property owner in determining a listing price. So that's the definition right there. That would probably be worth studying or writing that out. It's nice that they explain it, but then they don't explain it. They just put all these filler words. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. A license holder must include required language in every BPO and CMA, and it must be reproduced verbatim. I like that word. A salesperson may prepare, sign, and present a BPO or CMA for her sponsoring broker. However, the salesperson must submit the BPO or CMA in the broker's name. And, oh, okay, so right here. There it is. So yeah, a salesperson may prepare, sign, and present a BPO. It just needs to be for their sponsoring broker, and it has to be in the broker's name, and the broker's responsible for it. Okay. If you don't know, look this up. This is Trek Advisor. It's all right here. It has everyone. So cool. So only if they offer it for free. I'm going to go with D. A house listed at $396, sold for $393. The price value was $395. What is the market value of the property? With this type of question, I would assume you would use the formula. Hopefully we all know. Ember mug disconnected. We're going to use the... Forgot we have a calculator right here. Okay, we're going to use the mean formula. Let's see if we can figure it out with that. With this one last time, I did 396 plus 393 plus 395 equals divide by 3. Bam, 394.66. So let's find 394.66. I'm going to go with C. We could be wrong, but I'm going to assume that they got 394 and that they rounded it to 395. That would make the most sense. It definitely wasn't 393. It wasn't 396. and it wasn't 395 because they already gave us that, so it would have to be C. If we're wrong, I'm gonna cry. You can't cry too long, gotta get up and keep going. Broker has listed his own property for sale. Which of the following statements is true? His own property for sale. Well, if a broker or agent's listing their own property for sale, they need to disclose, hey, the broker cannot list his own property. The broker must always disclose his dual role. I like what that prep agent guy said. He said the answer, you need to choose the answer that is always correct. And that would probably be the broker must always disclose his dual role, not if asked, not, What is true about the duties of all license holders? This would be C. A license holder must treat all parties honestly and fairly. Oh, excuse me. A license holder must treat all parties with honesty and full disclosure of facts. Maybe. A license holder owes all parties in confidentiality and full disclosure. That sounds good. A license holder must treat all parties honestly and fairly. A license holder must treat all parties equally. True. All of them are true, but what you see most of the time in your book is you see they'll say honestly and fairly. You see that in law of agency. You see that in every single book. I'm going to go with that. All right, we're going to go faster. We took 24 minutes to do 8 questions. Okay, so a seller has received and accepted an offer on his property with a closing date of November 15th. Time is of the essence. 2 days before closing, the seller notifies the buyer that he will be unable to close on the required date, but will be 2 days later if the buyer agrees. At that point, this contract is, well, it is voidable at the option of the buyer. It's not void yet. I feel like it's B or C. It's not D. Valid but unenforceable. Really, it's voidable at the option of the buyer because it's voidable saying it can go either way, and it's at the option of the buyer because it says if the buyer agrees. So we're going to go with C. The buyer's written offer was presented to the seller. The seller has sent a written counteroffer to the buyer. The counteroffer expires at 5 p.m. on Friday. Which of the following is true? The seller may withdraw at any time before closing. The seller may not withdraw before. The seller may withdraw the counteroffer until 5 p.m. on Friday. Seller may withdraw at any time before the buyer accepts the counteroffer. I'm going to go with B. They're saying time. Is this one saying time of the essence? No, it's not. An agent's commercial listing is under contract. The closing date has been set and all contingencies have been met. The agent learns that government improvements will have big impact on the property value. Definitely not C. Not D. No. I would say B. Disclose the information to the seller and continue with the sale. It's not A. Advise the seller to terminate the contract. I mean, why would you terminate the contract? Well, it is saying it will have a big impact on the property value. Hopefully it's a positive impact on the property value because it doesn't say that. It just says has a big impact. I can see that's kind of tricky. A contract that is signed but not yet carried out is executory. I apologize if I say these words wrong. You may want to read them and learn them. Learn the right way of saying it. Surely we'll figure them out due time. A buyer wants the right to purchase a property during the next 2 months at a negotiated price and terms. What type of agreement should he enter with the seller? Sales contract, no. Option contract, maybe. I'd say contract for deed. You know what? Let's see what our trusty Quizlet says. See, I love this. You can tell I've Googled this before because it shows up right there. See, and this is a really good one. If it has it literally like point blank with answer questions we've already done, then that means it's a good Quizlet one. So, oh wow, we were going to get that wrong. Well, here's the problem we're at right now. An option contract. An option contract is the right to purchase at a future date for the set price in terms that is considered a unilateral contract, since only one party, the buyer in this case, has the right. Sales contract, contracts are deed and implied contracts are all have two parties with duties to both parties and are considered bilateral. Okay, so it's an option contract. Now, she could be wrong. She might put the wrong answer on there to screw you up. So we're going to go with option contract. My laptop's about to die. You know what? I should probably get some water. Man, I will tell you guys, all this talking, it does make you tired. So, one thing that's nice about this Ember mug is oh, that's when it's not going out. If it turns red like this, it's not heating the cup. And you have to put it back on its little pod. But, I mean, you can crank this thing up to whatever you want. So I put it on the 136 degrees. So, alright, let's get back to this and see where we're at. It's an option contract. Which of the following creates a general agency relationship? So actually this pertains to me with the company I'm with. I have a management agreement. So that management agreement is also an employment contract with my business with the client. So that is a general agency relationship. A listing agreement, a buyer representation, sales contract, nope. Number 37, which of the following statements about a bilateral contract is false? I think that's true. Usually, I mean, these questions are honestly really annoying because they kind of try to trick you up. But really, when you're trying to look at them, I like to go one by one and just think, if it's saying it's false, man, I don't even know how to explain how to go through these questions. It's just one of those things you just kind of learn. Well, a bilateral contract, it is an exchange of promises. Kind of. Is it binding on both properties? Yes, so that's true. Can both parties be sued? I think so. That's true. So what is the answer? Probably C. That's how I would do that question. Maybe not the best way of doing it, but we'll see at the end. Which of the following best defines or describes a counteroffer? Oh, okay. A counteroffer is a rejection of the offer and the presentation of a new offer in response to the offer received. When a seller accepts some of the terms, no. When a party makes simple inquiry, a partial acceptance of offer, no. A counteroffer is a rejection of an offer and then the presentation of a new one, because you're countering the previous offer with a new offer in response to the offer received. When does a buyer's offer become a binding contract? This is when it's when all negotiations are complete and both parties agree. When the buyer signs. We're going back to Quizlet because I don't know. When it is accepted and the acceptance is communicated. So it's D. Honestly, that's kind of tricky. Because really I would have thought when all negotiations are complete and both parties agree. But it's actually when it is accepted and acceptance is communicated. I mean, that's kind of like, well, duh. Usually with those questions, it's probably good to write it down. Write the question and the answer down so you memorize it, because you'll most likely remember it that way. A landlord and tenant negotiate a verbal lease agreement on the phone for an 8-month term. Oh, the tenant later decides not to move in. What term is best describes the lease agreement these two parties had? It was voidable. Man, I hate these questions. So tricky. Valid but unenforceable. I mean, it was oral, so it wasn't a. I mean, is it a valid lease? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know definitely it's not enforceable because nothing's in writing. So that's one thing for sure. So it's not A. It's either C or a D. Is it voidable? Yes, and unenforceable? I'm gonna go with C. I could be wrong. People in the comments are screaming, "That's not right, you idiot! You chose the wrong answer." 41. When a license holder is also a principal to the transaction, he must disclose his dual role. When it says only, you can practically assume that's not right. Only if the other agent asks about it, wrong. Only if the license holder does not have E&O insurance, probably not right. Only if relative to the license holder lived in the property, no. I love those questions because usually only if it starts with only, it's probably not right. Even if the license holder only has economic interest in the property. So that's basically saying yes, you still need to disclose even if Mr. A license holder only has economic interest in the property. A broker has a one-on-one relationship. This is brokerage. What are the requirements of valid and enforceable real estate contract? Competent parties in writing earnest money. Let's check what our Quizlet lady says. Did she say that? Is that one in here? No. What is the most important duty of an agent? This would be loyalty. All the others are important, but loyalty is definitely... I mean, and that's in general. I mean, what would you rather want? Do you want an efficient agent working for you that's not loyal? Or do you want an agent that reimburses you, but that's not loyal? I think anyone that would want a loyal real estate agent, whatever you are, whether in real estate, anything, you want loyalty. A property where there has been a murder, this is a good one, is referred to as undesirable, condemned, red flagged, stigmatized. There's in the school, maybe it was Randy or someone else, but he was talking about there's a lady that literally her niche is she specializes in stigmatized properties. So haunted properties, murders, everything that would probably deter most people away from the property. That is her business in selling or working with those deals. So that's kind of cool. And I mean, hey, that works great for her because how many people want to work with a stigmatized property? I mean, if I knew the house next to me had a serial killer in it and, it's all creepy and all abandoned, I don't think I'm going to go in there. Who would? A sales license holder markets her listing as being the most beautifully decorated home in the subdivision. So the keyword is as being the most beautifully decorated home. This is an example of puffing. What is the definition of puffing? Actually, it was right here. We skipped it somewhere. There it is. Puffing is the word in real estate that describes using adjectives and opinions rather than hard fact to describe facets of a property. The word beautiful is often associated with puffing on the state exam. This is not misrepresentation, fraud, or deceptive advertising if it is your honest opinion. Whoever did this did a great job. They really wrote more and they did more than a lot of the other Quizlet scholars on here. So whoever wrote this, they should get us a 5-star. Number 47, a broker has purchased a general liability insurance for his company. This policy would protect the company assets if... So general liability, from what I've heard, is that would deal with injuries. agent and client are involved in an automobile accident and both are injured. Maybe. A client is injured while viewing properties. Maybe. The keyword in this question is company. A client is injured on company property. The broker is found guilty of false advertising. This would be an E&O problem. False advertising would be errors and omissions or professional liability, I believe. License holder has just taken a class in marketing. Which of the following statements about advertising on social media is false? Well, license holder does not need written permission. No, they probably do. Does not need written permission from her clients to advertise their properties on social media. I think you probably should get written permission. A lot of people are very camera shy, or they're just, I don't want my property on the internet, get that off. You know, a lot of people are more hesitant. I mean, I won't disagree with them. There's so much cameras and stuff these days. All advertising on social media must comply with fair housing and TILO rules. Puffing is in advertising is permitted. Well, she's not really puffing. It just says she's very excited about the idea and has decided to market her listings. So on Facebook and Twitter, she's just intending to use them as advertising media. I don't think she's puffing. True. I'm going to say false for B. Exaggerating puffing, which leads to misrepresentation, is not permitted. That's true. Puffing is in advertising is permitted. That's true. It's the exaggerated puffing. That's not. License holder doesn't need. Wait a minute. Hold up, guys. That's false. That's it right there. I can't believe I was going to go with that. All advertising on social media must comply. That is true. Why was I going with that? I didn't read the question. That's all you got to say. When you get tired, it's been 40 minutes and, you know, haven't ate in a while. So it's very easy to kind of just skip over words and not actually understand. So that's another thing. If you get tired while you're taking the exam, one thing that helped me is just stop, maybe close your eyes, and then kind of just look off and just kind of look at something for a little bit. It really just helps like reset your mind. You know, just kind of looking up. Plus, there's all sorts of interesting stuff. You know, any place you're testing at, usually there's always something interesting to look at in the room when you get bored of doing the answers. What does the Uniform Electronic Transactions Act guarantee? This would have to do with electronic signatures. So this is saying electronic signatures are always the legal equivalent of handwritten signatures. I know that. Definitely. It's probably A. So we're going to skip that. That's good. Yes. International. Okay. Number 50. Hey, we made it to 50 questions. Let's go. You know, it's funny, being live on YouTube on Ni-Fi is more of an accountability, because if I was doing this myself without, you know, having you guys watch, if anyone's watching, or the future people who hopefully will see this video, it's more pressure to not get distracted, because you know, hey, there's a camera watching you and it's recording live, so this video blows up or doesn't blow up, you know, it's on there, and I don't plan on taking it down. So if you're ever trying to keep yourself motivated, start a YouTube channel and go live, because you know somebody's going to see that video and you probably don't want to disappoint them. So question 50. A sales agent has been working residential sales for 5 years. He decided to move to the industrial sales. Sounds like commercial. What should he do to be competent? Advertise himself as available for industrial sales. True. Read a book. True. Take a course. That's probably good. Align himself with and work with an industrial property specialized to learn the business. That sounds like the best answer. All right, we're almost done. Page 6 of 8. We can do this, guys. A sales agent in your office. He's suggesting profiles may begin to fall. He is practicing. Oh, a sales agent in your office has been farming a neighborhood and counseling sellers to sell now. He's mentioned the relocation of a large number of immigrants. Guys, this is illegal, by the way. Is it channeling? Is it good marketing technique? Is it steering? Is it blockbusting? It is blockbusting. And we can check that so that you guys know it's right. Blockbusting was a business practice in the U.S. in which real estate agents and building developers convinced white residents in a particular area to sell their property at below market prices. So, here's a better definition that doesn't have to throw race in there. The practice of persuading owners to sell property cheaply because of the fear of people of another ethnic or social group moving into the neighborhood and then profiting. So yeah, they're saying, hey everybody, sell all your property, just sell it quick. These other people are coming in, and they would come there and buy it up, and then if people did come in or whatever, then they would just jack the prices really high, and they would make the difference. Good thing they banned that, because if that was an issue then and they didn't do anything about it then and they left it now, people would still be doing that. So that's blockbusting. Steering is I always get confused with these two. No, steering, not that steering. Steering is a practice of influencing a buyer's choice of community based on the protected characteristics. Steering is directing buyers based on their class. Redlining is the generally discrimination of buyers by the lending industry. Blockbusting is when an agent convinces people in a neighborhood to sell their house because the socioeconomics of the community is negatively changing. That's a good definition right there. What's the following example? Leading prospective purchasers to or away from certain neighborhoods or locals. So, yeah, if you have a group and you're like, no, I think you guys should go over here, and you're kind of just steering them here, you're steering this group here, you're steering this group there, that's definitely steering. And that's very illegal, just like blockbusting. Which of the following would be a violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act? That has to do with something with commission rates. That's negotiating commission rates with a sales agent. A broker setting a commission rate for his business, probably that one. An MLS service requiring a minimum commission rate for all listing. Broker assigning market areas to the sales agent he sponsors. No. It would be a broker setting a commission rate for his business, saying, hey, I only pay this rate. A senior apartment complex has more than 80% of the units occupied by someone 55 years or older. There is a vacant apartment. Can they refuse to lease it to a single mother with a child? Yes. You know what? Let's look at that and see if that's somewhere here. I don't think she has it in here. Okay, I don't think it's in there. I wonder if it is B. I feel like it would be D, only if her income is too low to meet the requirements. So like your QC is high, like you need to have 3 months rent, and say she doesn't bring in, maybe it's you need to have $5,000, coming in to lease here or something like that. Maybe, who knows? We're gonna go with yes. Watch it be D. I'm like, dang it. Two brokers are discussing commissions at a social function with the intention of setting a rate for their market. Oh, this one is, they should have not had the discussion, but since they never acted upon it, there is no violation. I'm going to go with C. This discussion is pointless, as all license holders charge the same rate set by the local board of builders. Yeah, that's definitely not right. A broker has accepted a buyer's deposit check and placed one half of the deposit in the escrow account and the other half in his operating account. Ooh, that sounds like some commingling. He has used the funds in the operating account to pay his office expenses. The broker is guilty of. But he not only, here's the tricky part. It's not just commingling, it's conversion, because he has used the funds in the operating account to pay off his expenses. So not only did he commingle the money, but then he converted it and he spent it. So let's see what conversion, the definition of conversion, real estate, is the act of using property or funds with which one has been entrusted for purposes other than those for which the property was intended to be used by those who entrusted it. Excuse me. So I'm pretty sure it's conversion. Civil rights of 1866 prohibits discrimination based on, that's 1866. I'm going to go with, ooh, I need to check this. Race or color, okay. Well, let's go with color. If a discrimination complaint is filed with HUD regarding license holder, what will HUD do? HUD will file a suit against the agent seeking civil penalties. HUD will file a suit against the agent seeking criminal. They won't revoke it. I always forget, is HUD housing and urban development, or is it something else? Gosh, can you imagine? HUD will fine the license holder $55,000 for their first violation. Like, well, dang. Which of the following advertisements, we're going to go with A for this one. HUD will file suit against the agent seeking civil penalties. Number 58, which of the following advertisements would be a violation in the Federal Housing Act of 1968? It was amended in 1988. I think that is no single parents with children. It could be wrong. Which of the following statements about lead and lead disclosure is false? Well, lead is found in paint, pipes, and soil. Disclosure must be provided for all parties built for 1978. That is true. Disclosure allows buyers to waive the right to a lead inspection. That might be true. I'm going to think that all lead must be removed or remediated before the property can be sold. I don't think that's true, so we're going to go with C. The proper method of dealing with asbestos problem on a property is encapsulation. It's not mitigation, it's not condemnation, it's assessment. Sounds, that could be it. I'm pretty sure it's encapsulation. Asbestos is, it's a wild one. Which of the following actions would not be advisable for a real estate license holder trying to avoid liability with environmental issues? Would not be advisable. Probably be performing basic tests for hazardous materials. A seller was unaware of the presence of asbestos. The buyer's inspection has found that the inspection is present. Which of the following is true? There is no duty for the seller to perform asbestos abatement. That's probably not true. Asbestos removal is not considered hazardous. Therefore, the seller can simply remove it before closing. The removal of asbestos is called remediation. That is true. As a result of PPE findings, the presence of asbestos on the property automatically voids the sale. Asbestos removal is hazardous. So I'm going to go C. CERCLA is under the administration of the EPA, Environmental Protection Act or Agency. I think it's the Environmental Protection Agency. A buyer tells his agent that he is concerned about the possible presence of radon. Best response from the agent is tell the buyer to have an inspection. Tell the buyer he only has to worry about radon if he smokes. Well, I'm pretty sure radon is odorless and you can't see it. So, but then again, how would you know if you can't see it and you can't smell it? How the heck would you know if there's radon? Let's look it up. God. Colorless, odorless, and tasteless, so the only way to find out is if you develop symptoms of radon poisoning. Oh, man. Well, it's a good thing in Texas we're right here, so the radon's pretty low. That's a nice thing. Okay. So for everyone more north, maybe get your house checked for radon. A seller's disclosure is used in many states. Which of the following statements about the disclosure is false? The license holder should never fill out the seller's disclosure. A seller's disclosure is not required of the property. A broker can be held liable. The accuracy of the seller's disclosure is the responsibility of the seller. That's the best answer. They usually say a seller is responsible. A seller should fill out the seller's disclosure notice. That's from what I've heard. How long does the seller have to keep a copy of the lead paste paint? 3 years. Which of the following closings would be regulated by RESPA? I think real estate environment. What is RESPA? It would be a condominium. I remember that question. And we can look up what is RESPA. If you don't know, just copy, paste, Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. Oh, RESPA. Okay, yeah, they deal with the kickback stuff. So if you have a loan officer or a lender, and your lenders are getting you clients, and you're giving the lender clients, so you got a deal working. You're like, hey, I need a lender. Like, oh, hey, you're the lender. Can you give me a kickback for giving me that? For me giving you that client? That would be something that RESPA says, no, you cannot do that. And the reason why is because if that happened and they allowed lenders to give kickbacks and stuff, then it would drive up the closing cost. See, by taking cases for business settlement referrals, inflating closing fees, or overcharging for services. Because, man, if they can charge for it, they will. In many instances, a lender will require a buyer to purchase a PMI. What is PMI? Private mortgage insurance when financing the purchase of a home. What does PMI do? Well, it insures its private mortgage insurance, and that is to ensures the lender will receive the entire balance due at foreclosure, regardless of the price of property, pays off the loan. Ensures the lender's exposure of risk. I mean, it's either B or C. I'm gonna go with D, because I'm pretty sure it insures the lender completely. You know what? We will check it in a minute. Which of the following can be used to protect a lender from loss of interest income? Oh, this is a prepayment. So when it says loss of interest income, why would you punish them for paying it off early? Why would you give them a prepayment penalty? I don't know. Maybe I don't understand that. Okay. A borrower is aware that interest rates are set to be lowered in the next few months. He wants to purchase a property now. What type of loan should he get to allow him to take advantage of lower rates in the future? That would probably be an ARM, an adjustable rate mortgage. A budget mortgage, a blanket mortgage was the least called. That would probably be good for a builder. No, maybe there's another one. It's an ARM, most likely, because an ARM is an adjustable rate mortgage. So if the rates are going down, then probably be that. All right, so we have reached the end of it. Hope to God we pass it. We probably won't because every time I take this, I get like 50%. And that's with Quizlet. So let's see what happens. Real estate salesperson national prep exam. We have reached about 58 minutes. 10 questions are still unanswered. Okay. Maybe that's why I keep getting them wrong. Oh, well, they're right here. Maybe that's what I keep doing. I keep hitting, I see the red button, and I'm like, oh, I'm done. And then I hit submit exam, and that's what's failing me. Okay. When does the vendee receive the deed and contract for deed? What the what? When does the vendee receive the deed and contract for deed financing? What the heck is a vendee? I've never heard of that term. Guys, we need to Google this. Okay, so vendee takes us to France. Well, that's wonderful. What is vendee known for? And see, this is what happens. You Google something, then you get distracted, and by the time you're done, you're like all the way in nowhere. So when does he receive the deed and contract for deed financing? That sounds good. When the contract is signed by both the vendor and vendee after he places a vendee's lien on the property. I don't think he likes that. After he makes the final loan payment, when he moves into the property. Contract for deed. Contract for deed. This is that thing where they're paying. It's like I swear, I believe that's B. That's one of those like agreements where it's like you're paying your lease with an option to buy. Something like that. We're gonna go with B. If we get it wrong, well, oof. 72. Where would you find PMI? On an FHA, on a secondary, on any secured. Quizlet. Oh shoot. Look at that. Ensures that's the actual answer. Our answer is different. Oh, there you go. On a high LTV conventional loan. Okay, well, so let's see why. PMI is required on conventional loans where the borrower is putting down less than 20% or 80% LTV. MIP is used in FHA lending. Secondary and unsecured loans usually require higher interest rates, not mortgage insurance, to compensate the lender for risk. So it is on a high LTV conventional loan that would have PMI. For FHA is for MIP. Let's go back and fix this answer right here. Where is it? There we go. Ensures the lender's exposure risk, usually the top 30% of the loan. Cool. Where would you find PMI? An individual has applied for credit and the application has been denied. What federal law states that the individual is now entitled to a free copy of his the Equal Credit Opportunity Act? Well, gosh, that's tricky. The Fair Credit Reporting Act. I've never heard about that one. I've heard about Truth in Lending. We're gonna go with A. We got a math one. A commercial property leases for $7,500 a month when fully occupied. Monthly operating expenses are $2,780. In March, one unit was vacant. The rent for the unit is $725. How much does the property manager earn? Oh my gosh. Should we try? Should we try? So 7,500 minus 2,780. That's 4,720. Okay. Minus 725 times 8%. That's 319. That's nothing on this. Okay, so well, it's 8% of monthly rent. It just says earns 8% of monthly rent. It doesn't say 8% of monthly rent after expenses, so it should just be 7,500 times 8%. He should be getting 375. Okay, that's not there either. Oh my god! What is the answer? People in the comments are like, you idiot. Can't believe you don't know how to do this. Let's try this again. 2780, 4720. Where the heck do you get 600? Minus weird. Alright guys, I do not know. We're gonna have to figure out how to do these questions. This one's tricky. I'm gonna go with a 283. Oh man, 7,500 a month when fully occupied. Okay, this is bothering me now. I don't want to move on from this. We'll come back to that. Oh, here goes another one. An investor get a 10% rate of return. Principal gross rents are $10,000 in month. Expenses for the property. What's the market value of the property? Dude, we might just. Oh, and they're all they give all the math ones at the end. 10% rate of return, potential gross rents, total 10. Is it 10 million? No, it's 10,000 a month. Well, so 45, 47, 570. So it's 10,000. It really throws you off when they put the 0.00. Makes it look bigger than it is. Times 12, that's 120 minus 47, 570, 72, 430. Dude, I'm just gonna go with that. That's wrong. Well, whoop-de-doo. The Smiths purchased their home for $200,000 with LTV of 80%. They've repaid $27,000 of the original loan. They have sold the home for $229,000. What is the equity at closing? So $200,000 times 80%, $160,000. Well, minus 27,000, 133. 229 minus 133, 96. What's wrong with that? Who knows if these are right? We're just keep on going. A lot is sold for $100,000 with a 90% LTV. The sellers agreed to pay 3 discount points. So I think a discount point is $1,000. An origination point for the buyer at closing. How much was the seller at closing? So what is 90% of 100,000 times 90% minus? Oh wait, hold on. Well, okay, hold up. How much will the seller owe at closing? Wouldn't it just be 3,000? The seller agreed to pay 3 discount points. A discount point is 1%. Wait, what if it's just 90% of 100,000? So what if it's not 1,000? I feel like it's one of those stupid questions. What if it's just? What if it's 2,700? I'm gonna go with that. I think it's one of those tricky questions where it's like, oh, you thought it was $1,000. You thought it was a discount point for the 100,000, Well, no, we were asking for the LTV. I'm gonna go 2,700%. It's probably wrong. Commercial property is 200 by 300. There's a premium for $50 at the front door. How much would the buyer pay for the lot premium? Who knows? 200. And we just keep going. This is how you fail your. This is why I keep failing the license exam, because I don't know the math. I need to learn the math. A property was purchased for $400,000 3 years ago. It is in a neighborhood that has been appreciating 4% a year. Okay. So that shouldn't be too hard to figure out. 400,000 times 4% times 3 plus 400,000. That's 448. Damn. Let's see if that's right. Using the cost approach, what will be the value of a 2-story building that is 65 times 30 if the land is worth 50,000 and the depreciation is 15,000? Holy crap. What? 60. Using the cost approach, what will the value of a 2-story building that is 65 times 30 if the land is worth 50,000 and depreciation is 50,000? Replacement cost is $100 a square foot. Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna start playing with numbers and see if we can get to something. 50,000 minus 15,000, 35,000 times 100. Okay, 65 times 30. Dude, I got no idea. Well, I'll have to get my brother to help me with that. Alright, guys, screw that. We're... Good thing you can take this as many times as you need, because if you couldn't, that would suck. Page 8 of 8, 70 minutes, real estate salesperson, national prep exam 1. Did we make it or not? Oh, shoot! How? How did we make it? We made it by like a hairline. Okay, congratulations, you've passed this exam with a grade of 70. Oh, that's nice. But that's also not really running 100% off memory. That's using Quizlet, so let's see what answers we didn't make. Let's start at the bottom. Okay, obviously this one. So you take 65 times 30 times 2 equals 3,900 square feet times 100 equals 390,000 building costs. Oh, I see. Then you add that, and then you subtract it. Oh no, you 990,000 minus 15,000. What the what? So you add these. Okay. Property manager's purchase. So my correct answer is C. C is correct. Wait, how did I get that wrong? I swear I thought it was 448. It's 449. Oh, look at that. The 104 times 104 times 104. A is correct. 200 feet times $50 equals 10,000 real estate math calculations. Minus, wait, what? Minus real estate math calculations. Minus real estate math Do they all say that? Minus real estate math calculations? What the heck? Guys, we need to work on our math. Oh, wow. Dang it, dude. It wasn't the Equal Credit. It was the Fair Credit Reporting Act. I've never heard of that. Out of all the classes I've taken, and I haven't heard of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Are we still going live? Yes, we are. Stop streaming. Okay. Seller's disclosure. Which of the following of the disclosure is false? Correct answer B. A seller's disclosure is not required if the property has been leased and the owner who lives out of state has not occupied the property for many years. Did not know that. That's good to know. The seller was unaware of the presence of asbestos. How did we get this wrong? There is no duty for the seller to perform asbestos abatement. Hazards only must be disclosed, not removed. Oh, wow. Asbestos abatement is extremely hazardous, and the presence of asbestos does not automatically void the sale. Property disclosures, environmental issues. Oh, hold up. So this little part right here, it says property disclosures, environmental issues. That's just telling you where they're getting that answer from. So it's probably in the book that you could find. Okay, two brokers are discussing. How did I get this wrong? Oh, I chose C. And the correct answer is B. The discussion is a violation of antitrust law. Which of the following would be a violation of the Sherman anti... How did I get that wrong? What the heck? An MLS service requiring a minimum commission rate for listing it accepts. I thought it would be C. A broker setting a commission rate for his business. So it's an MLS service requiring a minimum commission rate. Okay. What does the Uniform Electronic Transactions Act guarantee in court? And I got that wrong too? Oh my gosh. B is correct. Electronic signatures are valid and enforceable as long as all parties agree to their use. Honestly, the answer A sounds a lot better. That's a tricky question to throw at you. Oh, I got a headache. Gotta eat some chicken or something. I'm gonna have to eat some fish tonight. I think that sounds good. What do you guys think? What are the requirements of valid and enforceable real estate contract? D is correct. Consideration in writing legal purpose. Okay. 42, a broker has a one-on-one relation with a client. You gotta be kidding me. It's agency. Oh, it's not brokerage. Okay. Brokerage is overseeing the transaction. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so that's agency. Somebody in the comments was like, you dummy, I'm telling you it was agency. The landlord has a tenant. A is correct. According to statute of frauds, a verbal lease agreement for 1 year or less is valid and enforceable. Void and unenforceable. Oh, so it's not even valid. We chose voidable and unenforceable. And we got this one wrong too. Okay. A, the seller may withdraw any time before the buyer accepts the counter offer. Okay. House was listed for $396,000, sold for $393,000. The appraised value was determined to be $395,000. Correct answer is D. Oh my gosh, it was $395,000. That's crazy. I should have known. Can a sales license holder prepare a BPO? C, yes. And I chose D. Okay. Sales license holder can prepare a BPO in the broker's name and be paid through the broker. A broker or appraiser's license is not required. A sales license holder can prepare a BPO in the broker's name and be paid through the broker. Oh, that's true. That's what Trey said. Let me close these out, guys. Okay. How is your minimum calculated? B, the average price divided by average monthly rent. Dude, I'm salty because on the Quizlet it said list price divided by annual rent. So Quizlet Girl got me screwed up. But it is, the GRM is a price per rent. It is calculated by dividing the average neighborhood price by the average monthly rent. The GIM uses the annual rent. Oh, there's two different ones. Okay. FIRREA. Where does the appraiser get a license? A, from the state in which the appraiser will work. That is so freaking, like, basic. Oh my goodness. That should not be the right answer. It's like, oh my goodness. A property owner has overimproved the property. Which principle of value will describe this? B, the law of diminishing returns. Thought it was a regression. Regression is a result of a decline in the neighborhood. Okay. That's crazy. Using the market data approach, determine property value for seller's 3-bedroom. Oh, that's that property. That's that question I did not want to mess with. A is correct. 290,000. 300,000 minus 10,000 equals 290. Oh my goodness. When you start doing math at 8 o'clock and you've been working since 9, it's just like, no. An appraiser has valued single family home. A is correct. The income approach. We chose the GRM. Okay. So it has to do with a rental property in a neighborhood where almost all the homes are leased. What approach did he most likely use? So that would be A. Number 9, when an encroachment exists on a listed property, what are the roles of the agents involved? A, the listing agent discloses the encroachment and the buyer's agent recommends a survey. I mean, yeah, that makes more sense. We should have read that question more. The listing agent discloses the encroachment, the buyer's agent recommends a survey. That is a problem. That is what would happen if it was a real transaction. Well, that's good. We still passed, so thanks, Quizlet. Barely. That's good. We're getting better. So that's only National Prep Exam 1. We'll still need to do Prep 2. So we'll probably just be working on Prep 1. And then once we've got this down, then we'll do State Exam 1 and just keep bouncing back and forth till I think I've really got that down. Then after that, we'll do National Prep 2, Prep 2 to State Prep 2, and yeah. So yeah, guys, that is our live stream for today, and we'll be going most likely live tomorrow. We're gonna be having this on the channel, so you guys can go back and watch it. These videos will get better, and as we get more experienced, we'll do a better job of explaining this. But definitely check out Night Before the Exam. Here are some papers on the Champions thing, so when you download and you go with them, you get math questions that you can practice. So probably get help with these because I'm a dummy when it comes to math, which I need to work on that. And really, real estate math is not that hard. I mean, you're not doing calculus or any complex stuff. It's just all you need to know is how to add, subtract, divide, and multiply. You just got to know what order to do it in the formulas. So we'll get back to that tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're not already subscribed to NiFi, Nitro Finance. We got more videos coming out, and right now we're very focused on real estate. Once we get that going, then we'll be doing some more videos on being a real estate agent, property management, more Appfolio videos, because that is a great software that you guys should check out. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.